when I was a child, most of anime's heroes were all boys, and I really want to have adventures, and I really want to be brave, and I really want to be strong. So, well, I was like, my choice to do these things, I have to be a boy. So I try to be a boy so much every day, like lower my voice. So that's why my voice is a little bit lower than Japanese average girl's voice. So
That is because you were smoking cigarettes. Sailor Moon. How about that? You like that one?
comparing to other Japanese anime at the time, back then, it was kind of sensational. And also, Japanese anime is basically based on mangas first. So in the same manga magazines, there's another female warriors manga called Layers. So these two animes were very big, and maybe I was very lucky that I was a child in their time, So if I was older, maybe um early 80s or 90s animes, maybe most of hero anime was just the boys drama,
I
So
watched Gigantor. Gigantor. It was like a robot.
Iron Guy number 28 is Japanese original name.
I didn't have any control in my life, but it was this one boy who had a machine thing that he can control this big giant robot. And I was like, oh my God, I wish I had some of that. I need some control. So I can
Wow.
send the robot to beat somebody up.
Well, it sounds a little bit American. It's like the bigger, the better
Yeah.
idea.
Real big. And it's like a drone. I want to be able to go places and I don't have to leave the house. That's
In Japan, you know, there's kind of stigma like for women, girls should wear makeup even when you go to convenience store or deli, just right next to your apartment. So if you don't wear makeup outside, they'll be called like not woman, non-woman. So girls should wear makeup all the time. It's a rule, it's a manner. So, but instead, in like in Japan or Asian makeup is a little bit thinner, weaker than American makeup, American makeup. So, um, but yeah, usually we have to wear makeup, and we do it because we don't want to be looked strange or lazy people.
I like that. If I was gonna wear makeup, it would be like invisible makeup, just to make me look uh fresh.
Yeah, it's very interesting because we call the way of makeup like natural makeup. So to make it look very natural, we wear a lot of makeup. You know what I mean? So thicker makeup, but it looks more natural.
I want
It's a
makeup,
trick.
a makeup that when I get wrinkles, that it doesn't show the wrinkles. That's the makeup I want. So it's like a cake, just like scrape it off.
We don't winkle so much.
Something about the Caribbean, and my family's from the Caribbean, so I I think at 80, I might get wrinkles. That's when it settles in. I like the makeup they use in the movies where they just like everything looks smooth.
Mm-hmm.
You think I need makeup?
This is
Never.
uh, yes, you do.
I know. Yes, I need the special makeup. My sister would tell me, you always want to be white. So I wanted the makeup that makes you look white, just like the white face.
Mm.
Complete the process.
maybe it's gonna be life changing, right?
Yes.
So
Is there a rule in New York, like when you're in Queens, when you're in Brooklyn, when you're in Manhattan, is there a different level of, oh, I'm going to put on makeup for this?
until last month, my rule was when you go to somewhere in Queens, I don't have to wear makeup. That was my rule. But once I start going to gym, I changed my rule. When I go to gym, I have to wear makeup because there are so many attractive men.
I agree. That's probably the place where I'm going to meet someone really special. They might not like me, but I'll think they're special. I'll take their picture and be like, shh, post it on
Yeah.
private account.
That was kind of joking, but I was really surprised to see a lot of young girls wearing makeup at gym, because at first I didn't wear makeup because I'm gonna sweat and I'm gonna take sauna in the morning, so maybe I can go back home and take shower and then wear makeup. But there are so many young girls wearing heavy makeup in the morning at gym. I was like, so are you gonna go to work not taking shower after this? Or it's very weird. Maybe in Japan, of course we wear makeup at gym because outside our house, but maybe really, really weak makeup, and we bring every makeup tools to the gym, and after taking shower, you gotta do all makeup at gym, then go to work. So
It's a lot of work. I feel like going to Manhattan is a little more important, but in the Bronx, I'm like, no deodorant,
mhm.
put on my pajamas. And this is me natural.
Oh my god, it's on the other hand, well, it's a little bit difficult for me to choose what to wear when I go to Bronx. So I got not so many, but well, good amount of clothes for going to Manhattan after coming here, but maybe I'm not ready for the clothes to go to Bronx yet. So
Wear
what
bulletproof
should I wear?
vest. We have a lot of bullets here. That's all. On that note, we're gonna start the show.
I spent a night with my friends. We just partied.
No drugs.
Not that I know of.
A video leaked showing Prime Minister with her friends dancing to a Finnish pop song. I think this scandal is about how much femininity is allowed for a top politician. That gender is at the heart of why this is a scandal. The changing rationalization of that public interest in this footage indicates that it's the footage which is hot, and that there is something in that material and in what it implies. It's about toning down and sort of wearing an armor. Sanna Marin has had a lot of coverage that focuses on how she dresses and her appearance. Marin does the Hillary Clinton, Angela Merkel trick of wearing uniforms and trying to become invisible, like making the gender invisible. The video footage of dancing and partying and clubbing, that all sort of does away with that control, and it sort of explodes the armor.
This is my armor, Donald Duck.
My armor is my mushrooms right now.
It's like, wow, as a Japanese, where most of politicians are all old men, I was like, wow, so when I saw this scandal, I was like, wow, I'm seeing SF movie, or is it 100 years advanced movie or something? It's really futuristic. First of all, young women, young female politicians is dancing. like us. It's very related, and it's very personal. It's very human being. I was really honestly, I was really happy to see her having her private time like this way. And so I didn't get why people get angry. So maybe that video was kind of explanation for the reason, but
It became this big outrage,
yeah.
international scandal.
If she was male, this would not have been an issue. And I can only imagine what it would have been like if she was non-binary or trans. It would have been even worse. And the way we treat those in positions of power like that, they're allowed to have mental health days and outside time and have a personal life. And I really think, because if this person was male, we've had stuff like Prince Andrew is a good relatable topic. Prince Andrew has done all kinds of stuff and still popular, was never really truly demonized like she was overnight.
It's a private moment with friends, and it wasn't meant for public comms. Like me in public, I am a little more groomed. I'm a little bit more polite. Around my friends, I'm not that polite. As polite kitty, there's different versions that I bring to myself. I always wondered about the personal lives of politicians, and but I don't feel entitled to know everything that happens to them personally. Like, and here we had a scandal. President Clinton, in his private life, had extra women. One of them in the Oval Office was pleasuring him, and it became this big scandal. What does he do with his penis?
Mm-hmm.
Even that, it's a bit much for me.
Because I don't need to know everything about like the person who stocks the dairy counter at my local grocery store. Why would I need to know everything about the politician? As long as they're doing the job and getting it done in a ethical and legal manner.
Oh, it's quite interesting question. Well, of course, I don't want to know what color of his poop, or yeah, I don't want to know that kind of stuff. Actually, most of politicians in Japan are very sexist. So maybe some of us need a little bit more about private side of politicians as a human being of each person, not only just the skills or academic grounds or academic backgrounds, or who he knows, but how he really thinks against people.
I think that's the most important thing. That's really good. I want to know, sort of, there's a politician makes promises that sometimes they can't deliver, but more important to me is like, what is your decision making? What is your biases? What do you not like? Who's that? Trump had a scandal about when he was going for president, that he had they wanted to release a tape of him with a prostitute in Russia and the women were peeing on him. I really wanted to see that tape, not because I want to see him naked, but because I want to see how his judgment while he's getting peed on. Is he happy? Is he sad? This is the process I need to know. It's like, what is your brain thought there? If you're going to pee on me, do you enjoy it? Or do you go, oh, stop?
I can't disagree with you. Yeah, because yeah, I'm interested in being peed on. And no, please cut here. Please cut here. I was just joking. But you know, sorry for just referring to Japanese politics, but most of politicians always say like we empower women in Japan and we need to empower women. But if they have party, it's not going to be like that. They go to hostess clubs or some sexual services and having parties, and maybe once they get drunk, they talk what they really feel as a person, what they really think as a person, and they maybe most of the politicians will say, oh, women have to make babies, or oh, women have to get married and have babies. So, you know, in public and in private, if there is difference between their faces.
Here's my solution for all the new politicians. They should be of a certain age, younger, not older, and they should all have OnlyFans where they can post private things. That's my solution for the men and the women.
I'll disagree with you, Henry. I think we go with Kalara and say we just get them all drunk at the beginning, see what their values are, and then vote accordingly.
OnlyFans is where I want to see the PP tape. OnlyFans is where I want to see you dance privately.
Henry's stuck on this PP tape.
It could be a paid content for OnlyFans page or a Patreon, or
It would be like a Patreon OnlyFans where people pay to see the stuff you can't show. And then all that money goes to help children education.
I was gonna say the money goes back into education and healthcare.
I want to see what Biden is doing.
Sitting on his couch eating a pizza.
or dropping off from the bicycle.
Yeah.
See, that I would pay to see that in slow motion. Yeah.
Yeah, I really want him to buy Band-Aid with my payment. As a Japanese, just general question about her partying. Is it nasty?
She's having so much fun. I don't like other people, especially my leaders, having fun because then they're not doing work. So from that perspective, I think she's a woman. She's young.
I'm new here and I haven't got used to American party culture. And sometimes like when I go to club or when I go to party, some man just stick to my body and shaking his waist, and it's very nasty. So, but if it is normal level of how to enjoy party, I have to learn this. But the prime minister, she didn't show like that. So
It's an unreleased tape, I'm sure. Now I want to go to Finland where they party. Whew, let's go. Where's my ticket?
yeah, that was
tourism,
good promotion, right? Yeah,
Right?
if you want to have a party with the prime minister, just go Finland. Yeah, Finland is new Ibiza.
Now we need a Finland gone wild.
Finland gone wild. The prime minister should, every time people come through, the tourists come in, she should be greeting them with a dance or something.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
You know that would, how many people would go there just for, known as the party country.
She is Finland's Katy Perry.
And I'm going to offer up 5 ways that you can respond. My name is Katie Morton, and I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist. Number 1 is, do you know all the stuff I've done for you? or anything said to make you feel like a burden. When this is said to a child, this is done as a way to cause us as the child to feel guilt or to feel like we're a burden. Our parents' decision to have us is somehow our fault and has caused us to be indebted to them, and that debt can never be repaid. And this is really just a way for our parents to project their own dissatisfaction with their life and their choices. Number 2, you are such a disappointment. That first relationship is incredibly important and part of how we develop our sense of self. And so hearing this from a parent can be incredibly devastating. It can even make us question our own self-worth and lead to things like anxiety, depression, or suicidal thoughts. Again, this is just a projection of their own dissatisfaction with their life. Number 3, commenting in any way about our child's appearance. This could be that they're too tall, too skinny, too short, too fat, too whatever. And I think it's kind of obvious why this isn't okay. If we're drawing attention to any part of our child's body, that can lead to them judging that part even more harshly, leading to things like eating disorder, bad body image, thinking those things about themselves all the way into adulthood. Again, because these early relationships are so key. And it's like the lens that our parents see us through when we are really little is the lens that we tend to see ourselves through as we grow up. And as
This
you
video was all about me.
And me, a little bit.
Yeah. Especially my mom was really Godzilla and toxic Godzilla. It might be better if she was, well, relatively successful, but her case, she was really low self-esteem, and she was always, she shamed herself always. So, for example, it says thinking kids, like their extension. She always said to me when even since when I was a very little child, because parents are like this sloppy, you can't live on your dream, or you cannot live successfully, because we parents are very poor. You cannot get successful, or you can achieve your dream. Even if I had some enough skills, or I had enough skills, enough materials, or good enough, I behaved in a bad way to fulfill these cars.
Do better than me. My dad, who was addicted to drugs, he was like, don't be like me. That's encouraging. But then he told me that he didn't like me. So there's two things. There's one good thing, and then he's like, it just did not like me as a person.
Toxic parents always think the kids should be controlled by them. So they always try to suppress kids worse than, or they try to stop the growth. So my mom was a really good example. I was a kind of smart kid when I was very little kid, and I was good at sports, but she always limited the opportunity. So she was like, okay, so you are the top in this school, so maybe it's enough. Or you are good at soccer in the school, so you don't have to enhance, or you don't have to grow your skills anymore. So
Are you good at soccer?
I love soccer, but she never allowed me to play in a team because it's a boys' sport. The ball!
I never played soccer because I thought people would think I'm gay.
Really? Well, a lot of American friends, American Japanese friends who transferred to Japanese school, like mid school when I was a kid, they all played soccer. So I was very envy, and I was
I
so
think because
jealous.
we have baseball, we have football, which is so manly, like, they're gonna beat each other up, and then basketball is like you throwing stuff, and then soccer is just, you just kick the ball.
Really? But women's soccer is really popular in America, right? Because there are some star players, right? Like lesbian women having pink hair. You know who I'm talking about? No? Oh, okay. So soccer is not popular. Okay.
Well, one, Clara, you are gorgeous. So I don't know what your parents are talking about.
Thank you very much. Well, it took a long time, but I survived, and now I know who I am. But it took a long time.
Right?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I've heard all those phrases. Like Henry, my dad was highly addicted to drugs, in and out of my life, for a very long time. My mom had issues, with trying to grow up and be such a teenage mom, because she was very young and having 2 kids. And so it's a lot. And so you hear a lot of that. You're a disappointment. You have to love me because I said so. And I because I parent a very different way, I take a more hands-on approach, to the point it actually drove me into helicopter mode, like she mentioned on the video. And I had to take some self-awareness and take a step back, so I wasn't cycling that trauma back onto my son.
When I came to New York, I said to my mom, I am moving to New York. And then my mom was like, well, I'm very late child and only child. So my mom is kind of older than my generation average.
Okay.
Yeah. So she was like, are you gonna abandon us? Who's gonna take care of us? All the parents. And my dad is also older, in 80s. Not 80s, but almost 80s. So who is taking care of us?
Yep.
Yeah, and I'm the first child and the only child. So are you gonna abandon us? And I said, oh, don't worry, Mom. I'll be coming back soon for your funeral. Yeah, maybe some people having good parents might get angry to hear this, but if you don't have, well, if you have toxic parents, or if you don't have right parents, I think you can run, you can escape, you can find your own way.
Have you seen the book I'm reading right now by Jeanette McCurdy, and it's called I'm Glad My Mom Died? Now, I don't want anyone to read between the lines, because I don't wish death on my mom. That's not
I haven't read it, but yeah, it's in my Amazon book list.
Yeah, it is. It's amazing. It's emotional, because there's so many levels of that, like narcissism and that mental, game that, I think we can all relate to.
In Japan, if a comedian published the book like that, I will receive so much backlash. Of course, I'm not afraid of that.
I was little and they were big, and I looked at them. I think what I'm talking about is like the childhood trauma that you had to overcome, that I think each of us has to overcome. Is they're human. And in the case of both of my parents, they weren't very educated. And they were raised by their parents who weren't educated either. So they were limited. What I'm trying to say in a nice way is that most of my family is stupid. I'm in therapy because of my mom and dad. And it's different though for my mom. My mom loved me too much. My mom told me, you can be president. Like, except she was not joking. You can be anything you want. If you want to be gay, be the best gay. That's like, oh.
Well, maybe your mom was a very creative person.
Extension, you know why it is an extension? Because her birthday is on the 28th, and she always thought she gave birth to me on her birthday. So it was an extension. I was the chosen one. On her birthday, she gave birth to me. So her birthday is the 28th. My birthday is the 29th. and she always had the best. Like I was a special child. I was special though.
Now, see, this is interesting because my son's future is Henry. Seriously, because I love my youngest. He is like my boy, my kid. We have nicknames for each other, and and that's why I started the helicopter parenting, because I'm always with him, so I had to back off. But yes, I see my son's future now as Henry.
Toxic parents have two types, like Henry, your mom.
I laugh because I see my son, and he walks around with a strut like, I am so, and this is my room, and what are we doing today?
That sounds right. Yeah, that's my script as well. I was like, yeah, I'm here. With a
I've
banana.
seen a lot of sketches about spanking with black belt.
Yeah, I'm gonna get the belt.
Oh,
And then you had to wait for the belt.
Yep. We had spoons with the wooden spoon, the plastic, yeah.
maybe we use ruler.
Yeah.
Like number 10 here, I'm doing this for your own good. I've heard that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to spank you, but this is for your own good. You'll become a better person, which is not true. You do not become a better person. You just like spanking.
Spanking and the hitting are different. Maybe in Japan, many people or many toxic parents hit by hand. It's common way. It's a trend. But how about you use more belt?
The belt is, yeah, or anything, that object, that a shoe, whatever's nearby. I think now it's become illegal to spank but I was like the last one. We'll spank Henry, and then the next person will go. Everyone else. Now it's illegal to spank children.
I see. If it was legal, what do you think people will spank with in 2040? No, 2080. Do they still use, will they still use black belt or smartphone, or I don't know?
I think there would be an app for that. Spank your child with a phone app. The most thing that I think you could do, because I have a lot of nieces and nephews, is take away as you said, any social media. That's a big punishment.
So true. So true.
Okay, so good punishment. As a parent with teenage type kids now, I would like to watch the burn go gradually as I punish them. So I took away their charging, so their cords, so they could have the phone, but they had to watch as their battery drained, and they couldn't have the charging cord back.
That's like a torture. Like,
Yeah.
It's going away. No, I still have one bar.
Number one, therapy. Therapy can be really beneficial because it can help for us to acknowledge some of those false beliefs we've formed due to these toxic messages. All 10 of the things I just mentioned can come along with some bad and false beliefs about ourselves, right? I'm too fat or ugly, or I can't be autonomous, I can't be independent. And number two is inner child work. And that can come along in therapy, or it can be something we can do on our own. Inner child work, while it sounds a little woo-woo, can be incredibly beneficial. What we do in that work is acknowledge a younger us. This can be done through maybe referencing old diaries we had, or looking at an old photo of ourselves. And my third tip is to notice our self-talk. Because we've been told some horrible things about ourselves and our environment all throughout our upbringing, we can have a very negative view of ourselves in our world. And just noticing the things that we're saying, because let's be honest, we shit talk ourselves all day, every day.
Getting over the trauma is going to take a long time. It's a long shift. And I tell, just like the video, I tell them, hey, it's just one little change, just one little something. Even if it's, like you said, rewriting that ending, I think it helps because in the long run, if you were to journal yourself 30 days from now, I bet you your thinking will have changed.
The most effective ways were, one, thinking. I started from thinking about very little future, especially while I was shut in hikikomori. I've been blaming my old myself, old myself, like why didn't I say, or why didn't I do like that, or oh, I was really disappointing because I did something like this or something like that. But I just started thinking 3 seconds future, like, okay, 3 seconds later, I'm gonna make a coffee. 3, 2, 1, and I made a coffee. So, and then my viewpoint was changed from past to future, little by little. Then that was my changing thinking way practice number 1. And number 2 was like she said inner child work. I did it in my own way. And first I did my sad childhood. I always recalled my sad childhood and a traumatic moment. But at one time I changed to recall my best memory in my childhood. So honestly, I was lucky that I was good at study and I passed some entrance examinations. So I recalled my achievement. But on the other hand, this entrance examination series was made by my parents. So I felt a little bit different. And then all of a sudden, I recalled a moment when I was maybe 5th grade or 6th grade during gymnastic class. I grew my skill in the class by myself, and I tried and error. I erred 5 or 6 times, but I grew a little by little. Finally, I jumped over. So that moment was really maybe in my life, it's a small achievement. Nobody cares, but it was really, really best feeling moment while I was a kid. So sometimes I get depressed or I feel down. I try to recall this moment again and again. And yeah, I can grow, I can learn, and I can be better. Because especially my mom was very limited person. So she always tried to limit my talent and the skills. So this is number 2 exercise. And number 3 is the best exercise, that is to have bass.
Not just one, you have several.
Yeah, but I started from 1 bay and I unexpectedly got 2 and 3 bays. So anyway, talking this to my bay is kind of inner talk, self-talk, right? And he always talked to me very compliments only.
That would do it. There's a show that I watched, is a gay romantic show, and it was The Miracle of Teddy Bear. I'm gonna send you the link, but it's basically a teddy bear that comes to life and becomes a human.
But it's not a bear.
Yeah, it's a bear.
My bay.
Yeah.
And sometimes we argue like which is cuter, and we never end this argument because I always said you are cuter, and my bay said you are cuter. So our fight is never ending. But anyway, so he always tells me very positive thing, and sometimes hugging, and it makes me feel so comfortable because my parents never held me, so it makes me really, really comfortable and relaxing. So
I actually recommend my clients, I tell them to go out and go to the store. I said, and just go to buy your favorite candy bar or your favorite piece of candy. nothing else. You're not going to buy anything else. You're going to go just to buy your favorite piece of candy, and then walk back home with that joyous feeling you had when you were a kid, when you wanted to just go buy your piece of candy. And then I have them, of course, write it down, how they felt, what they experienced, and then they can reference it again.
It's like baseball cards, but they had these little cards and it had a gum inside, and you would buy it for like 20 cents, and then you open it up, eat the thing, and it was like crazy cards or little cards there, and you had to collect them. It made me happy. I think that's why I like t-shirts now. It's like, oh, it's like a card. Oh, look at it. Donald Duck. Donald Duck is my friend. He's my bae.
Oh, okay. Okay, so he's taken.
No, you can share me.